he was somebody who kind of just Johnny come lately, like some people just move to your area, move to a district to run, right, for office. Sometimes they do that federally, and they just move to some area. So he wasn't like a homegrown Oaklander for the people over there in the city. And so other candidates were also homegrown Oaklanders. But she just managed to be able to, through the process of obviously the door knocking, the door to door thing being on the ground, and being able to build coalitions within the Black people in East and West Oakland, the Asian people in Chinatown, the Latinos in the Fruitvale area, and the whites in the hills. She was able to build that kind of coalition to be able to do something. But without it, his money, he just could have dominated, not so much the airwaves, but the mailers and everything. He could have just dominated with that. He would have just normally have won in the old days because he just had more money and he would have more reach. And so her lack of reach in terms of finances was made up for in that regard. So I think it was a confluence of him not being a local person, somebody who just seemed to come in and move there just to run for the mayoralship, but also the fact that people could pick their second choice and third choice, and then by being able to pick a second and third choice, they're not engaging in, even though it's a local election, they're not engaging in high stakes voting, right? Which is what I consider high stakes voting. When it's like, oh, you only got these two choices, like high stakes, you got to pick this one or that one. So I think that's the benefit that it changes, that it does allow different types of people who normally would not have a chance at winning in the way the system typically works. They actually get an opportunity, and in some cases, they actually do win.
You guys have that in LA too, don't you, Jason? Don't you have ranked choice voting there?
Yeah, they have it in LA.
Yeah, and remember they got they got the first, well, not the first ever, but in a long while they were able to take out a Democrat district attorney and put in a Republican, a moderate Republican district attorney there. But choice voting definitely helped with that.
Jesus Christ loves you!
Fresh start teach me to go to.
I also just say, since we're addressing the subject of style, the most stylish president and first lady in our lifetimes are Donald Trump and Melania Trump. Donald Trump's a style icon. He changed him.
Feed the habits, if nothing which thou seekest not.
I'm Anthony Porofsky, and I need to tell you about how global funding cuts are having.
If you have assumed a character beyond your strength, you have played a poor figure in that, and neglected one that is within your powers. Fellow, you have come to blows at home with a slave. You have turned the household upside down and thrown the neighborhood into confusion. Do you come to me then with airs of assumed modesty? Do you sit down like a sage and criticize my explanation of the readings and whatever idle babble you say has come into my head? Have you come full of envy and dejected because nothing is sent you from home, and while the discussion is going on, do you sit brooding on nothing but how your father or your brother are disposed towards you? What are they saying about me here? About me there? At this moment they am making progress and saying he will return perfectly omniscient. I wish I could become omniscient before I return, but that would be very troublesome. No one sends me anything. The baths at Nicopolis are dirty. Things are wretched at home and wretched here. Then they say nobody is any the better for the school. Who comes to the school with a sincere wish to learn, to submit his principles to correction and himself to treatment? Who, to gain a sense of his wants? Why then be surprised if you carry home from the school exactly what you bring into it? Epictetus, I have often come desiring to hear you speak, and you have never given me any answer. Now, if possible, I entreat you, say something to me. Is there, do you think, replied Epictetus, an art of speaking as of other things? If it is to be done skillfully and with profit to the hearer, yes. And are all profited by what they hear, or only some among them? So that it seems there is an art of hearing as well as of speaking. To make a statue needs skill. To view a statue aright needs skill also, admitted. And I think all will allow that one who proposes to hear philosophers speak needs a considerable training in hearing. Is that not so? Then tell me, on what subject are you able to hear me? Why on good and evil? The good and evil of what? A horse, an ox? No, of a man. Do we know then what man is? What his nature is? That is the idea we have of him. And are our ears practiced in any degree on the subject? Nay, do you understand what nature is? Can you follow me in any degree when I say that I shall have to use demonstration? Do you understand what demonstration is? What true or false is? Must I drive you to philosophy? Show me what good I am to do by discoursing with. Rouse my desire to do so. The sight of the pasture it loves stirs in the sheep the desire to feed. Show the stone or a bit of bread and it remains unmoved. Thus we must also have certain natural desires, and one that moves us to speak when we find a listener that is worth his salt, one that himself stirs the spirit. But if he sits by like a stone or a tuft of grass, how can he rouse a man's desire? Then you will say nothing to me. I can only tell you this, that one who knows not who he is and to what end he was born, what kind of world this is, and with whom he is associated therein, one who cannot distinguish good and evil, beauty and foulness, truth and falsehood, will never follow reason in shaping his desires and impulses and repulsions, nor yet innocent denial or suspension of judgment, but will in one word go about deaf and blind, thinking himself to be somewhat, and then he is in truth of no account. Is there anything new in all this? Is not this ignorance the cause of all the mistakes and mischances of men since the human race began? This is all I have to say to you, and even this against the grain. Why? Because you have not stirred my spirit, for what can I see in you to stir me? As a spirited horse will stir a judge of horses? Your body that you maltreat, your dress that is luxurious, your behavior, your look, nothing whatever. When you want to hear a philosopher, do not say you say nothing to me. Only show yourself worthy or fit to hear, and then you will see how you will move the speaker. Now, when you see brothers apparently good friends and living in accord, do not immediately pronounce anything upon their friendship, though they should affirm it with an oath, though they should declare for us to live apart is a thing impossible. For the heart of a bad man is faithless, unprincipled, inconstant. Now overpowered by one impression, now by another. Ask not the usual questions. Were they born of the same parent, reared together and under the same tutor? But ask this only, in what they place their real interest, whether in outward things or in the will. If in outward things, call them not friends, any more than faithful, constant, brave, or free. Call them not even human beings if you have any sense. But should you hear that these men hold the good to lie only in the will, only in rightly dealing with the things of sense, take no more trouble to inquire whether they are father and son or brothers or comrades of long standing, but sure of this one thing,